Yeah.
Yeah,
Overledger is not being used. Nobody bought a license for the
public version.
Yeah. Which is interesting. And that level of reasoning, right? And research to me is a little bit funny. Ladies, gentlemen, comrades, welcome. Episode 17. The Quamfy Show. Today we are dressed in black for, well, no apparent reason. It's Sunday evening, and usually we record this on Tuesday. I'll be moving from this place to a better place in the coming weeks. So we have to record a little bit early. Usually that's a good sign, because usually when we record early for some reason, we get some dope ass news in the week after that. Don't quote me on that. So what we have today is Consultancy FUD. As you guys know, there was an update, the Quant Smart Contract Audit. And naturally, that was reason for, let's call it a rival community. I don't regard them as rivals, but hey, each their own. They're calling it a pivot. Apparently, Quant pivoted. So, well, yeah, we'll be having a look at what that means. Before that, we're going to be talking price. And before that, so that's what we're going to start with. We're going to have a look at the House of Chimera and Tokenicer, diving into some of the building blocks of Quant and what it represents now and whom are representing it. Can be a pretty interesting episode. If you want to connect some dots, stay tuned. And Tim.
Yeah, I'm here.
How are you doing?
Asleep. Yeah, it could be better. I was almost asleep. I didn't expect that we had a Quamfy show scheduled tonight. I mean, we did, but yeah, you make a lot of appointments during a week, and you don't really, like, you have a certain pattern, and you don't really expect that there would be a change of pattern regarding like this appointment, because it's always on Tuesday. And we had something else scheduled, and we moved that back further. We moved that a bit further in time, so it's like everything should be as usual. And then, like a couple of minutes before our scheduled time, Jarno sent me a message saying, "Hey, what are we gonna talk about?" I was like, "Fuck, I'm actually in bed at the moment. I was about to go to sleep." So it's not even that late. It's like 8:30, but yeah. I'm really tired. So I've had a long weekend, did a lot of fun stuff. I was about to go to sleep. It was okay for me, and now I suddenly have to log back in and talk about Quant. It's not the worst thing in the world, but I wasn't really anticipating it, honestly. Yeah. So let's get it over with quickly. Yeah. How are you?
Yeah, I'm well enough, man. We got the rental event today, and for the first time in a very long time, somebody is watching television on TV audio, which is abysmal. But yeah, now everything is loaded up. Well, not everything, but a ton of stuff that I want to get there quick that I need to set up and do cable management and all those type of things. So I'll be heading there tomorrow. We're getting the keys tomorrow, obviously. Then there's a week of work to be done. The reason why we're recording now is almost likely won't have internet for the first couple of days.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense to record it tonight. So yeah.
Yeah, our cable provider has messed up. Been in contact with them for like 10 fucking times in the last month for all sorts of discrepancies and bullshit. So I'm not counting on my internet connection being ready tomorrow. What are you gonna do?
There's no chance.
So yeah, besides that, all is well. Gonna be some busy days, but at least we'll have a Quamfy show.
Yeah, and it will be kind of a different show in terms of sentiment in regards to last week. So like last week we were actually recording at the bottom. We recorded the Dutch show on Tuesday, and Tuesday we actually hit in euros. We had like €80, I think. So it would be like $85, a bit less. And that turned out to be the bottom, the local bottom last week, and now we're up a little bit. Not that much, but it sentiment is a bit better.
Well, people are still calling for the true bottom, the real bottom.
Of course, people will always be calling for the real bottom, whatever that may be. But the sentiment is a bit more neutral than it was last week. It's also the weekend, so I cannot really say anything. Like the weekends are always a bit odd.
Yeah. Then the volume is even lower.
Yeah, if you take that into consideration,
yeah.
You barely need any money to move the price. But yeah,
indeed. So let's dive into the meat and potatoes, and then we're gonna have a look at price. What we have here is House of Chimera. They've been posting a lot of quality stuff regarding Quant. Decided to give them a follow, and I was particularly interested when I saw this one pager. I mean, it's really just the tip of the top of the iceberg, but still, it's looks clean, and I think the information is accurate. So what it shows here is Quant logo in the top left, and then we have some features in the left column, and then to the right top we have their logo reading HOC and a chimera there of a lion and a goat and a snake, which is interesting. Well, was it a goat, the original chimera? I thought it was an eagle and a lion.
What?
A chimera. A chimera is a legendary being.
I don't even know what a chimera is.
A chimera is an animal, for lack of a better word in English that I can't produce right now, that has the genetic makeup of multiple creatures. So in this case, it's a snake, a lion, and a goat. But I thought originally it was an eagle with a lion and something. So if an organism, that's what I was looking for, has genetics of multiple creatures, it's genetic chimera, and it's mythical.
Okay, I
didn't underneath, know that. Yeah. You are forgiven. Industry insights, and then there's some partners and some unique aspects. So what we see at Quant Network under the features is Quant is a technology company that facilitates the development of interoperable multi-chain applications called MDApps through its platform Overledger, which serves as a gateway connecting multiple blockchains. Then they got the DLT gateway explained, multi-DLT smart contracts, and MDApps support. The MDApp support is interesting. Allows developers to build decentralized applications that leverage the unique benefits of multiple blockchains simultaneously, overcoming the constraints of being bound to a single blockchain network. And I find this interesting because I posted a tweet that was created by Martin Hiesbroek. Not a fan, but he covered the audit thing as well. And the comment section is utter.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know anything about this post, which I really like these kind of fact sheets or infographics, whatever you may call them.
Yeah.
And well, I saw it passing by on Telegram, and the only thing I was like, oh, nice. And I saw the further message after it. It was like, but please don't look at the comment section. And then I was like, okay, I should look at the comment section. I opened it, and well, my eyes Sorry, my eyes started bleeding.
Yeah.
And I immediately closed Telegram again. Enough Telegram for X. Sorry guys, I'm really tired.
Yeah.
I immediately closed the app. I was like, enough Quant internet for today.
Yeah.
If you want to
Yeah.
have some proper entertainment, go look at it. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's good
Well,
fun.
I'll put the Martin Heesbroek tweet in the description. Room
Yeah.
temperature IQ. Oh, it's an ERC20 token. Oh, it's hyper centralized. And blah, blah, blah. And it's, I mean, you can actually see people attempting to explain well. And then the next comment, they're countering, there's just no response from the initial people reaching out to help because they're like, okay, this is just, these people cannot be saved or whatever, for lack of a better word.
They cannot.
Anyway, this one pager also shows industry insights. There are 130 plus countries exploring CBDCs. 93% of central banks engaged in some form of CBDC work. 76% of financial executives are convinced of the long-term success of blockchain, and 74% of consumer products and manufacturing companies are developing a blockchain solution. I do not know if this is accurate. Seems about right, especially for the CBDC part. Those numbers do look familiar. CBDC is a focus here, right? Because it's top of mind for almost everybody in the blockchain space right now, either for good or for bad, because CBDCs are evil, obviously, and on the other end, they are the savior, as it should. So I think it's pretty ironic. I was thinking about this. So Bitcoin, right, back in 2008, 9, whatever, when it was still interesting. People called Bitcoin the savior, and obviously people still do. And Bitcoin was the enemy. And now CBDCs have actually the opposite role, because CBDCs right now are the enemy. And
for the institutions, they are the savior. Yeah.
For the banks. So, I mean, Bitcoin is never, ever going to compete with CBDCs. That is clear by now. Back in the day,
it wasn't so clear?
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody knew.
People were too hoping. Some people are still hoping, but yeah.
You can't save them all.
Chances of getting the gold standard back are higher, actually, than getting Bitcoin back, I think. Because gold is actually trusted and known. It's the known evil. So, oh well. Let's not get into that. But I think I thought it was interesting. So we'll see how it plays out. Maybe you see this video in 10 years and you're like, CBDCs died as well, just as Bitcoin. The unique aspects: overledger, adaptability, quant treasury, MDEP support, and fully interoperable. And what makes this unique is that the overledger platform is like the hub where everything that gets added to, right? So the overledger platform will be the windows of, sorry, that's itchy thing in my nose. Overledger will be the windows, and all the apps will be built on top of that. And some apps will be the premium apps, and some apps. So those premium apps will be built by Quant or partners.
Yeah, and it kind of, to add to that, like in the Dutch episode last week, we talked about Overledger and the difference between like Overledger itself and Overledger platform. And well, that's what we will also get to later this episode. Quant are building a platform with multiple services. And that's eventually the main goal. I think people kind of forget that. It's not just a computer program, it's actually an operating system.
Yeah, it evolved significantly. Right at the beginning, it was just an interoperability solution, and now it is actually a platform that offers a lot more. Right, tokenizers in the it's added to it. The smart audit, I'll argue, will be added to it, and there will be a lot of other functionalities, like in the cloud tools that you can. Maybe it's kind of like what Google did, right? They made initially there was just the search engine, then you got email. Now you have documents and spreadsheets and presentations and all those things. They just keep adding features. And some are interesting for you, some are not, but they're all demand driven, right? They're not going to create something that nobody wants generally. And obviously things get created and they fall from grace eventually. That's how things go. And it will probably be the same with Quant. They'll build things that are useful and interesting, and eventually they'll need to move on. But what remains always is interoperability will always be needed. The MDEP support is obviously at the core of everything. The treasury is behind this, right? Without a token, nothing works. We can argue about that all we want, but nothing, not a single comma has changed in the tokenomics since inception. And the adaptability. So why is this always relevant? That is because every country will always do their own thing, right? The United States right now are talking, yeah, we want CBDCs, but we will never have a CBDC because it's programmable. I don't know if that will hold. Maybe, maybe not. But what a good possibility is that they're going to create a solution that is more like e-money, right? Or like stable coins or some other hybrid form of what's it. UK is going for a CBDC. They know that. We know the EU, the Euro is going for a CBDC. Now, whether that will be programmable and to what extent, we do not know. What we do know is that they all need to be able to work together, right? So whether somebody uses whatever blockchain or whatever legacy, it needs to communicate with one another. And not every company has products that are either lean enough or customizable enough for every client.
No.
So there will always be choice, right? We're in the free market here. This is not communist China or Russia, where they just say you will use this and that is that. And we think that's a good thing. But without a solution like Overledger, you will get run into trouble because we keep building silos. We have not learned. I mean, we have learned. We have learned that we can fix everything. But initially, we'll still be building silos because we still don't trust anybody else, and we still think that our solution is best.
Yep.
So adaptability comes from the API. You can literally, through an API, just put anything more or less in there. And that's what I know about APIs. There's there's a lot of possibilities.
What
you go.
Sorry, what are we actually trying to say with this infographic? I mean, it's nice. It kind of summarizes what Quant does, but that's about it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean...
Partners, no. UST, Oracle, Nexi, Lexane, and Volo. You can find it on the website.
Yeah, but it's a nice infographic nonetheless. So if you want to have a look at it, do it. But before we go into like the obvious... yeah.
It is actually what we just shared.
What are the other findings of House of Chimera?
What do you mean?
As in, they post this infographic. I think they say something about it.
No.
Or is it literally just a one-pager?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He posted a ton of other stuff. He also had just junk on GMX.
It's kind of this. They don't really form a judgment. It's like just factual information about certain companies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Still nice though. I obviously support that. I like the idea. But yeah, okay. So if you want to have a look at this, you should.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a
Show it to
spotlight
your
for House of
friends,
Chimera.
share it on your social media.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then shall we move to the consultancy FUD, or are we first going to look at the price?
I have also
Tokenizer first. Fair enough.
the tokenizer thing. So inside Quant, from veterans in finance, telecoms, cybersecurity, healthcare, and more, the foundations were laid before Quant was even conceptualized. So what you see here is also an infographic. And in the center, you see the Quant logo very cleverly with a tokenizer globe inserted in the center. And then we see a few familiar faces. We see Gilbert, we see Martin Hargreaves, we see Luke Riley, we see Lara Verdian. Then we have a good old Andrew Carrier. I forgot her name. I'm sorry. Neil Smith and the Rockefeller dude.
Guy Dietrich.
She's pretty new. So you see all these people in a circle
I've seen her
around
face,
the Quant
but
logo? Yeah.
I've seen her face, but I don't know her name.
Me neither. Sorry if you're watching. Leave a comment.
You know you do.
Anyway, so what he is trying to represent here is at the top you see national grade cybersecurity. That's Gilbert, right? He worked for the New South Wales, Focalink, 4-member BSI, ISO, and he had very always C-suite functions there. Then we have 13 years of experience for Martin Hargreaves with Focalink, which is a MasterCard company. Yeah, I was a vice president, director, head of product, head of future services, technology lead. He did it all. There's more. Then we have for research and technology, we have Luke Riley. He's an AI systems leader, DOT module co-lead, governance team lead, ISO senior subject matter expert, and he's on the standardization. He's a co-chair. Lara, she's the COO, I believe, of Quant. She is the big pharma lead, right? She worked for Pfizer, medical affairs consultant, GSK, global markets access director, head of international markets for Intercept, and for Deloitte as the director of access economics. This is interesting because we always talk about the CBDCs, but there is one sector that's probably even bigger than quote unquote money, and that is pharma.
Yeah, because that's actually the most important vertical. Sounds a bit counterintuitive, but it is.
Yeah. Simply because, well, health is health, and practically nobody's like, I'm ill. But nah, I'm not going to do anything about it. Just leave it be. I don't care. And eventually, we all get ill, etc. There's a lot of money.
At the end of the day, it's not about money. It's about the amount of data that you send between.
And that needs to be secured.
Exactly. So for us, it's about the amount of transactions, not about the amount of money. So for us, it's more important.
Yeah.
Good point. We don't really talk about it because it's not a very hot topic. But okay, then we have Andrew, interbanking.
Yeah, he's a CMO, Chief Marketing Officer. He was a director for security services, and he's the CMO here. I don't know the logo, but he's been around, worked at Swift for a while. What's that?
I didn't say anything.
But yeah, Andrew, most people love to hate him, but there as well. Then we have the financial services gal, worked for Citi as a product manager, senior consultant with financial services, senior director in automation with Finextra. And then we come to the board of directors, and the Neil Smith, right, the former Navy SEAL, was the CEO and chair of Comcast. And this is the networks part, right? So how do you connect? And who do you know there? There was the advisory board for Qualcomm, and the advisory board for AOL. Pretty important companies. And then we have Guy Dietrich, managing director at Morgan Stanley, managing director, head of UBS New York Private, and managing director at, I cannot read this, Rockefeller Capital, obviously, and the advisory board of, what is this? Why can't
I don't know.
I don't know either. So yeah, this is the core group, and why I get to this is because this shows how extensive the experience is for the team, how many verticals are being attacked, right? Because we have pharma, we have the blockchain space, we have payments, then we have also payments and banks, and bankers love to work with banks. Then we have all the communications networks like Comcast, Qualcomm, AOL, etc. Then we have the financial services with Citi. Hint, hint. Wasn't there some sort of... No. Sometimes things just go through my head. Well,
obviously interbanking with Andrew.
Yeah.
And you have Gil ultimately in between all of that.
Yeah, the spider in the web.
Yeah, the spider in the web.
With the government experience at the top level, security clearance, working for both the United States and the United Kingdom, literally for the government. So yeah, that's a nice little C-suite they have there.
Yeah, they do. But then,
why this is important? Well, we'll get to that in a bit. Or did you want to add anything, Tim?
No, not necessarily, because, well, we have all this good news. Well, it's not news, it's just we have all this good stuff. Then we had to go in market cap.
Yep.
Coingecko, sorry, Coingecko in this case. We go to the market. And yeah.
Bitcoin, 25,643 euros. Looks to be going up 3% in 7 days. Sorry. Ethereum up 6.4% in 7 days. XRP 50 cents. This is all euro. Oh, Tether is 0.946 cents. So yeah, some comparison if you're in burger tenants. Yes. So if we go all the way down, Quant is in position 38. And we are up 0.7% on the 7 day. The price is exactly 85 euros now. The volume is a whopping 11.5 million euros, which is abysmal. If we have a look at the chart and we look at the last 14 days, we're effectively ranging. It's like a heart monitor for me when I'm 80. If I keep living the way I do. And now the 30 days, yeah, we're still ranging, right? We're now ranging around 86 euros, right? That's what, $92, something like that.
Yeah,
it's
not that exciting, let's be honest. But then last week there was this kind of panic moment where we dropped into the 80 euro territory, and then the sentiment got pretty bad. But now we're kind of going back up once again.
Yeah.
You always get this get these people on whatever platform you are on who say, well, yeah, the price action is pretty boring, I think, and then you reply to them today, well, until it isn't. And that's kind of how I feel about it, because, well, last week around this time everybody was complaining, and now suddenly it's boring again. Once you eventually go back up, so you move back towards the $100 mark or 100 euro mark, whatever, then people start complaining that they should have bought now, that they didn't do it, and that they want the price to go back down so they can finally buy in. Well, they could simply just buy in right now.
Yeah,
it's a very interesting dynamic that we will keep seeing. And it will never go away.
People crying, I wish we were $100 stable coin again. I'm like, oh.
But once you're there, you want it to be down. So it's always it's always the reverse of what it actually is.
And
Once
then
it
there's
goes
the
up,
people that are actually honest. They say, I don't give a fuck whether it goes up or down. I just want to see some movement.
yeah, that's true. I think we all do.
No.
Yeah, that about the price. But then last week, so we have about like half an hour left. I think last week we really hit this consultancy FUD in Dutch, and I think that translates perfectly in English as well. So let's talk about the Quant Smart Audit news we got last week. Put it into perspective a little bit.
I'm curious to your take on the consultancy fund, because it was a little bit your shtick that I put in here.
Yeah, but
you were the first one I heard to
it kind of
say
is.
that.
I mean, at least like how I. That's. Oh wait, let me make a timestamp. Yeah, well, the thing is, last week I noticed, at least on Telegram, and I saw some screenshots, well, of conversations where the main argument was that, okay, Quant is now moving towards, and it's also something you guys, so you and Bas and Neil spoke about in the Dutch episode a couple of weeks back, that Quant is actually now moving into towards the area of consultancy more and more. So the main takeaway from that argument is that Overledger is here and it's not necessarily generating enough money, and so that Quant is now moving in towards other side jobs in order to generate more profits for the company, and that can be seen as FUD. So that this is a really bad translation of something that I've noticed, and I think that there is kind of a strength of people in the community who think that way. And when you combine that with the news we got last week about the auditing of smart contracts, which we'll go into now, it kind of starts to make sense for them, at least, right? So they actually get they have some fuel to their argument.
Yeah, let's. I had an email from somebody. Let's see if he left the history intact.
An email?
No, not an email. The Telegram. I
thought, okay, are they now actually mailing us on the Quamfy Show?
No, it's no. It was about that there are no people using Overledger. Yeah, Overledger is not being used. Nobody bought a license for the
public version.
Yeah. Which is interesting. And that level of reasoning, right? And research, to me, is a little bit funny. And I mean, I know it's the only way we can check, right? You can only check, did somebody purchase the program? Because you can see on the purchase side how many people allegedly bought it, and apparently it's on 0. I don't know, I didn't check because I don't really care. But I know for a fact that the Galileo bots, they bought licenses, and they are not on that counter. Why? Because that was done on the back end, because they needed a custom solution for what they needed, so that did not go through their platform. They are not high profile enterprise clientele, but they are in a way treated as such. And this is my knowledge from 1 year ago, because I'm nearly left. But I know for a fact that a lot of these things get done on the back end. So if there's a counter on the purchase page, then right now, per definition, It is inaccurate and wrong. We do know that there are other companies like Nexi and Spunta and whatever actually using Quant already for quite some time. They are also not there. Obviously, because they are in the price. So that already testifies that there's something on the back end. So what this, there's no playing clients, no one cares, so they have to pivot. That is the same type of FUD as people throwing shit at Quant because their GitHub has no commits. Right? I mean, their GitHub is stacked to the brim, but it's all private. And it's the same with these purchases, no doubt. Because why would they share? I would not even know if they have a counter on their program thing, everything. And if why it is there if they're not going to share it, that's a whole other discussion. But it's just crazy. It is just crazy that the amount of people and their connections within Quant, the partnerships that are confirmed, that we still assume that there is no desire for companies to use Overledger. It's crazy. It's maddening. Because there's no commits on GitHub or something like that. Anyway, they, regardless of all this, apparently saw a need to begin a smart audit. To add that to their arsenal. And what I read here is Quant Smart Audit protects, sharing my screen,
Yeah, that was
enterprises against the $4 billion threat of smart contract hacks. So, Blockchain for Finance pioneer Quant launched a new service today for financial institutions, payment firms, and other enterprises struggling to protect their smart contracts and decentralized applications from vulnerabilities. Quant is enabling the secure transformation to decentralization and blockchain networks, migrating from on-prem and cloud infrastructure and applications to distributed ledger technologies. Quant Smart Audit, the first of a suite of enterprise security solutions for blockchain, known as Quant Protect, is a smart contract auditing service designed to provide enterprises with security levels they expect in order to execute their blockchain strategies, delivered by the same expert who powered the Project Rosalind Retail Central Bank Digital Currency project. The link to this is in the description. I read this and I read this and I assumed that this will be a part of Overledger platform. Because of this paragraph, I assumed that this will be a, for the most part, automated thing. Why? The first of a suite of enterprise security solutions for blockchain known as Quant Protect.
Yeah.
If this was merely consulting, i.e., send me an order and I will have 2 people and they will go dive into code, I'd argue that this will not be presented like this.
No, that's not scalable at all.
It's no, and we concluded that in the Dutch episode that because that would not be scalable. And if anything, Quant has always been very lean and strive to be as efficient, even to their own detriment, as possible. I'm talking customer service. It's abysmal. Anyway, so they're already struggling with customer service. They already have a backlog of God knows how long. So I cannot see Luke Riley for every client that needs a smart contract audited, that he will be on his laptop going through all those lines of code. Yeah, there is, oh, that's a big mosquito. There is AI already capable of doing this. And that is just open source AI, right? ChatGPT can already read code to an extent. So you can only imagine how far private solutions are. Right now, we went to the website and we went to the forum. And you can actually see that they're asking a lot of information. I did not know because I never audited a smart contract, obviously. How important it is to have all that information ready. But to me, it feels right now that they are doing everything by hand, and that they are probably using that information to start the automation for things.
Yeah.
And it would make sense to me that this auditing service, Quant Protect, will just be another icon on the Overledger platform that you can click, upload the code, because even now, if you want your code to get checked by Blockworks or whoever does that, you also just send your code and they either do it by hand or they throw it to an algorithm or through multiple tools, and they look for logic and they look for whatever other things you look for in a smart contract. And then it can flag certain parts that probably do not make sense or are just wrong. But that is like 99% of the work. Then you can forward it to a Luke or whatever. He can have a look at it and provide that as feedback, if at all. And then it's scalable again, because then somebody does not have to go through thousands lines of code. They can just have an algo do it, and then everything in the universe is better. So this is just my take. Do not take this as factual. But read the article yourself. financialit.net/news/blockchain/quant smart audit protects enterprise against. That's a very long title. It's in the description, as usual. And you can do your own thinking. Because if you think, say, that Quant is pivoting to consultancy because they add a feature like this, I am sorry. Then you have not understood what Quant is about and what they've been trying to achieve for the last God knows how long. What you also don't understand is that this, if this is going to be a very, very big important thing, right? Smart contracts in the future. And we spoke about this in past episodes. But a simple example for a smart contract in insurance is something with your phone. You can just have a smart contract phone insurance. And now you need to wait often to have your case reviewed. And then you can have an insurance agent that just doesn't like you because of your name or your face or the sound of your voice, or because you're not able to write well, your punctuation sucks, and then they can just decide to give you less than your phone is worth. Maybe. I don't know. I know in Europe these matters are usually pretty well taken care of for the average things. But smart contracts can take care of all of that. Right? And it will take some oracles and it will take some work still, but you can take most of the human decisions out of the equation entirely.
Yeah.
But yeah, to have a smart contract work like that, that requires auditing. And as a programmer, you cannot audit your own work, right? Same as when I upload a YouTube video, I will not see my own mistakes.
No, yeah. I audit it for you.
Yeah, exactly. And so that always takes a third party, right? Or in this case, well, the same party. But to do that well. But for businesses, third party is even more important because you need someone with a reputation. Well, we just spoke about the reputations, right, of the company. And with experience and with the tools. And preferably with a low price. And you want them to check your work before you expose your clients to it. Because the reputational damage of a smart contract breach is disastrous. And smart contracts will go even further because you're going to have it with cars and you're going to have it with rent for a ton of things. It will just go on and on and on. And there's going to be a huge market for this. But yeah, you cannot make mistakes. And you need to have the reputation to do it well.
Yep.
And there will be work. And there will be a need to have this in my opinion, automated and fast. Because right now, if you have your code and you send it somewhere, it can take well up to a couple of weeks before you have your code back or your program. And if then there's something wrong, you go back to the bottom of the pile. Usually, depending on whatever. So, is this consultancy? I don't think so. I do think they still do consultancy, but to me it feels this is maybe it is now consultancy to a degree, but eventually this most likely will be part of the Overledger platform suite, and then it can be trained to do the auditing of any smart contract.
Yeah.
And that makes it useful for all the verticals we spoke about. What do you think about your medical data and all those type of things, your medical bills, etc., insurance and so on? Smart contracts are also going to evolve, obviously. It's going to be an important thing. And eventually, I think this will be, because right now they're keeping it tight, right? So just for the big companies, the bigger banks, etc. So they still want to limit the influx of requests, financial services, government. But eventually, if everything is properly automated, you can scale this well. And I think it's I think it's a good sign that they are adding these features, because that means that the core product Overledger most likely is more or less done or ready to go. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see. It's the fourth quarter now, by the way. We did not get finality.
We thought,
yeah, finality was talking about the release of a product. I can't remember what it was. I'm digging my own grave here.
This is where it gets really interesting.
Yeah, they were announcing something what was prophesied to be in Q3.
Yeah,
could still be Monday, but well, it wouldn't be a big company.
I wouldn't expect that.
No, it wouldn't be a big company if there were no delays. But Fidelity arguably uses Quant, which is interesting. 2023 still holds LACchain, Latin American dollar.
Yeah.
Waiting for that. And
I feel like this is one of the things that we expect this year, and then it won't happen, and then we will never hear from it again.
You really think that?
I'm not saying that. It could very well become some kind of soft launch that we kind of miss, and then eventually it's they launched. You know, we've had this in the past where we anticipated stuff, and there wasn't an actual like launch event, and then eventually it was like they launched, like with SDX, for example. You remember SDX, the Swiss thingy, exchange bank, whatever it is. We were all anticipating the launch documents. Oh, it's gonna happen. Oh, whoa! It's it's around the corner. Woo! And nothing happened at the end of the day. We apparently it launched, but okay.
Yeah, that's true.
It's there. Yeah. You know, and that I'm not saying we won't see anything, because blockchain is a different thing, and they are confirmed partners of QNT. But still, I'm always a bit wary with these kind of things that we anticipate, which might become very big events, and it might as well not happen at all. Like, it might just become a soft launch. We'll have to see how that goes. Anyway, if you think about it, like Q4 is going to be interesting nonetheless. There is, planning-wise, there is a lot scheduled this year still. So we might get some fireworks later on. I wouldn't be surprised. And nonetheless, we are moving towards our deadlines, right? are getting closer and closer to things we anticipate in 2025 and later on. So there will be content nonetheless.
There will be content for sure. Now I got thinking about Latin American dollar again because there was a guy.
Yeah, that was supposed to launch this year.
Yeah. Gilbert announced it literally like that. Will be launching the blah 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 in 2023.
It's still
But there
2023.
was
So
yeah. Now there was a dude. He did a presentation. I'll throw that in the description as well. And he spoke about the euro dollar system and stable coins. And he spoke about the adoption of stable coins and that the prevalence was highest in Latin America for that. So I was like, wait, there was a Latin American dollar coming. We were promised, God damn it, Gil. And I'd say it's still coming this year. Or we get an announcement that it doesn't. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I'm trying to look up in the meantime if there's anything on LagChain, but most of those articles are just fluff. So, yeah, the Quant Smart Audit protects enterprise. The link to that on the Quant page is also in the description. And it's a nice website, by the way. I think we are calling it here. It's a little bit of a brief episode, but we are both exhausted. And
yeah, I'm not necessarily exhausted. I just didn't expect this episode to happen at this stage, at this time. That's but yeah, I think we still did. At least Jarno, I wasn't really here. I was just listening to Jarno. I think this kind of summarizes it. Current sentiment. There's not that much to report, even though there is. And we just got a new product. It's not the end of the world yet. And we are just grinding forward. Really. It's just kind of the sentiment at the moment. We're just grinding forward. I feel like many people will be mistaken if they are now really scared. Because eventually they'll learn that they might have we might as well be in a total bottom at the moment. I wouldn't be surprised.
If you dip out now, most likely you're fucked.
I
could be very, very wrong, because if we're gonna break through where we are now, then it could indeed go full cataclysmic. But we're in this downturn now for like 2 years.
Yeah, it's
dipping out now is just
doesn't make any sense, really.
Yeah, no.
It really doesn't make any sense on an FA level. Also on a money level, if you've been here for more than 2 years, then like why would you build the ship right now? Like, sure, you'll take profits, but you've been holding for such a long time. Yeah, but we'll have to see. Well, we really have to see where we're going. I think, at least, that we will get more news as we move into towards the months of November and October and November. Like usually at the end of the year, they come up with stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's about it for now. If something major happens, you'll hear from us. We have at least tried to have an interesting guest. The next show, I'm not sure what our planning looks like. I'm also going to Greece in 2 weeks.
I also have another interesting guest that I invited, which is whom is interested.
Yeah.
So before the end of the year, we'll have 2 high-profile guests.
Interesting guests. Yeah, and I think next time in 2 weeks I'll be in Greece, so we'll have to see how that works out. Jarno is moving, so it might become a bit of a chaotic October month, but it will work out. We'll be there, but we will upload.
Yeah, in 2 weeks I'll definitely be here.
Yeah, and yeah, we'll have to see how it works out. Maybe I'm here. I'm I'm just toast at the moment. I'm probably here in terms of we'll see how it works out. Yeah, that's about it.
Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you for listening. And
And,
don't forget to drop a like, a follow, whatever it is on your platform that you're currently on. It helps us out. And yeah, we appreciate it. Stay comfy.
See you on the next show. Stay comfy.